àwọn ṣé wọ́n wálé ni o sọ pé ṣé wọ́n àwọn àgbàlagbà wọn jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣùgbọ́n a'udhu billahi minash shaitani rajim bismillahir rahmanir rahim innal hamdalillahi nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nasta'dihi wa nu'minu bihi wa natawakkalu alayhi wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina man yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa man yudlil fala hadiya lahu أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله عباد الله الحمد لله المستحق بالحمد والثناء الذي خص بأفضل التحايا وأجملها سيد المرسلين ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين محمد بن عبد الله وعلى آله أهل التقى وأصحابه أصحاب الدجى والتابعين لهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. وبعد, we thank Allah, we glorify His name, and not to take too much time, I'm going to go straight to the discussion of today. Alhamdulillah, I've been asked to talk about the practices and what we should be doing in the last 10 days of Ramadan. And indeed, we are approaching the last 10 days, because the last 10 days will begin from the sahur that we take tonight. May Allah make us witness the end of this Ramadan and accept it as an act of ibadah. So I've been asked to talk about the acts that we should engage ourselves in this last 10 days of Ramadan. However, before I delve into that, I have some outstanding topic, some outstanding topics. But for today, I have an outstanding topic from last week. I was talking about the remembrance of Allah, and I would like to, bring it to a conclusion today before I delve into the topic of today, hoping, inshallah, that there will be enough time to do all of this. Now, last week we talked about how the remembrance of Allah is an opportunity, is a low-hanging fruit with which we can gain rank with Allah. We explain to ourselves that indeed there is ranking in the sight of Allah. Even though we're all humans created the same way, in the sight of Allah there is ranking amongst us. Some of us are better than others. Some of us are at higher rank than others. We have to strive to be better than ourselves in the worship of Allah, so we can gain heights, we can gain ranks in the sight of Allah. And part of the things that we can do to gain ranks in the sight of Allah and be a better person than the next person, be a better worshiper than the next one, be a better servant of Allah than the next person. One of such ways, as taught to us by the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, is by the remembrance of Allah. See, the remembrance of Allah is a form of worship that is performed by all parts of the body. There's the remembrance of Allah that is performed by the hands. There's the remembrance of Allah that is performed by the tongue. Remembrance of Allah that is performed by the eyes and the ears and the legs and the whole body and the mind. Some of the scholars have explained, how all of this at Jawari, all these different parts of the body perform the remembrance of Allah. So it has no specific time or place. The remembrance of Allah has no specific time or place. So long as you're living and you're drawing breath, you're enjoined to remember Allah always. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created everything close to us as a sort of reminder to us. And as we also mentioned last week, that the greatest source of reminder to humans is the Quran. It is what we go back to. It is the source. It is the source of information about Allah. It is the source of information about the message of Allah, about everything that Allah wants us to know, everything we need to worship Allah and worship Him properly. The Quran is the source and the message for everything. It is also a form of worship which draws the servant closer to the Lord. This is a form of worship that draws the servant closer to the Lord. It is also, and now this is a twist, because this is a form of worship that someone, for example, the servant performs. He remembers his Lord. But also, this form of worship also makes that servant the one that is being remembered. As explained, and we will explain that further, how the servant who is doing the remembering becomes the one that is being remembered, where the fa'il becomes the maf'ul. It is the light that illuminates the heart. It is cure for all that burdens the soul. That's the remembrance of Allah. It lifts spiritually, it lifts the seal from the ears of humans so that you can hear clearly the words of Allah. You can understand the words of Allah when you hear it. When the seal in your ears spiritually have been lifted, you will understand and comprehend correctly the words of Allah. Understand what Allah wants you to understand from His words, and you will hear it clearly. So it will also lift the burden from your tongue so that you can speak clearly to people about the word. You can relay the words of Allah clearly to people in a way that they will understand and be guided from it. It also spiritually lifts the seal from the eyes of humans so that we can see clearly everything surrounding us. Like I said earlier, Allah has created a signs that points us right back to Him, signs that remind us about Allah and Allah alone. But we do not see clearly. That is why we cannot comprehend that the air we breathe is a reminder about Allah. Because if you look critically at the air we breathe, let's not talk about the science of the air first. Let's just talk about the mere simplicity of it, the mere simplicity of the air that we take for granted, that if we don't have it, we die. We do have it, and it is so simple. It contains particles in it, and the particles in it don't kill us. And the air is just the right amount of oxygen, and a mixture in the right amount of nitrogen, and a mixture in the right amount of carbon dioxide and argon, and all of these other gases come together to form the atmosphere that we have, just enough to sustain life. If we look critically at that, we will know that indeed, all of these are signs that remind us of Allah, the most powerful, the greatest. And let's look at the science of it. I know I are putting some science into the first part, but then now let's delve deeper into the science of it. Like I said, the atmosphere of Earth just has enough mixture, the right mixture to the T of everything, enough to sustain life. I was watching a documentary recently, and they said that, we all know from geography or biology, I don't know which one, that we live in the Milky Way, right? So they were showing outer space, and they showed the Milky Way, and they showed the position of the Earth relative to the Milky Way. Now, the Earth generally is, considered to be in the Milky Way. That's our galaxy. That's the galaxy where the Earth resides. However, the Earth does not really reside within the galaxy. It lives farther away. It's like the majority of the residents of the galaxy are in downtown, right? And then you are living somewhere like, say, the galaxy, the main events are happening in downtown Newark, and you are living in Union. See how far away you are to downtown Newark. Let's not go to Union because you're going to another county, right? Let's say you're living on Springfield, and the main events are happening downtown. See how far away from downtown you are. That's how far away Earth is from downtown Milky Way. And they were saying that Earth is just, properly located. It's just strategically located in a position where it can sustain life. If Earth was positioned in downtown Milky Way, life couldn't survive on Earth. So Earth is strategically positioned where it is, and that's enough to think about Allah. That's how, again, the seals from our eyes and our ears and our minds are being removed spiritually to help us to comprehend all these signs, signs that ordinarily, you can take for granted and it won't mean anything. But if you think deeper at it, and Allah encourages us to think like this, think deeper at things and see Allah in those things, see the work of Allah in those things, see the greatness and the power and the might of Allah in those things that no other person, no other being would have achieved if not for the power of Allah. Nothing else could have made that possible if not by the power of Allah. And as if that is not enough, let's not leave outer space yet. Let's remember the fact that there has been explorations going on since the 70s, say 30, 40 years ago, that explorations have been going on in outer space. We've been sending probes and we've been sending, ships out there to explore and find habitable planets. We haven't found any, and we've explored multiple planets, and only Earth has been the one planet that has sustained Earth, that has sustained life. That is enough sign for anyone to think about, and it's just one of the everyday things. And the scholars are telling us that dhikr, the remembrance of Allah, is one of those things that if we engage in it enough, we will start comprehending everything we see. We will start seeing the might of Allah. We'll start glorifying Allah in all of those things, and we'll start seeing the power of Allah. So he also said that for as long as the servant of Allah engages in zikr, in remembrance of Allah, and is engrossed in it, his mind is in it, his heart is in it, he understands what he's doing, and he's doing it, he's seeing Allah in everything. One of the Salaf said that every time I step outside my home, I start to comprehend Allah in everything that I see. That it comprehends it in two ways. Comprehends it first, and saying this is by the power of Allah. And secondly, seeing it as this is the ni'mah of Allah. So it will glorify Allah, on his might, on his power that he has comprehended in what he has seen. Say, for example, the air that he's breathing. It will see it as a might, as a power of Allah, as one of the superb qualities of Allah, that Allah has provided us. Allah has made this, something we cannot see, this gas that we cannot see, just the right quantity to sustain life. That's very powerful. Allahu Akbar. Glorify Allah's name by that. Subhanallah. Say subhanallah for that. But he also would appreciate the ni'mah of Allah, the rahmah of Allah, the mercy of Allah that has sustained his life using the atmosphere that is breathing in. And for that, it will say alhamdulillah. So from just breathing in air, he is saying subhanallah, giving glorification to Allah. He's saying Allahu Akbar, showing that he appreciates the power of Allah. And now he's saying alhamdulillah, just from breathing air. Then he's going to take each step, and then he's going to look at the grass that is growing. He's going to appreciate the might of Allah from that also, and he's going to thank Allah that because if those grass don't grow, we don't know what will happen. So it's going to comprehend Allah from everything, for every step it takes, and everything that it sees in its surrounding. It's going to see the might of Allah in it. It's going to glorify Allah from there. It's going to thank Allah for it. So it says that for as long as the servant of Allah engages in zikr and is engrossed in it, Allah will be pleased with him, and Allah will look forward to meeting him. Allah will look forward to meeting him, and there'll be nothing that stops such a person from entering the Jannah of Allah except death. Death will be the only thing between that person and Jannah. Engaging in the zikr, engaging in the remembrance of Allah. It is also said that it is the door, zikr, the remembrance of Allah. It is a door between Allah and his servants. This door is always open. This door between Allah and his servant is always open as long as the servant of Allah does not shut the door himself. How does a servant of Allah shut this door? It is a door, a direct connection from the person to Allah, a dhikr. Because when you engage in dhikr, you're directly speaking with Allah through that open door that Allah will always keep open until you shut it yourself. And when do you shut it? You shut it when you stop remembering Allah. You shut it when you allow yourself to be distracted by other worldly things from remembering Allah. You shut it from the moment you forget about Allah. We have been told that Allah said to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Hadith al-Qudsi that as-sawmu li wa ana ajzi bi, that fasting is for me and I will be the one to give reward for it. We all know why. It has been explained to us the reason why that is how powerful fasting is, and that no one can reward anyone for fasting except Allah himself. The reason for that, just to remind ourselves, is because fasting is one of such ibadah that when you do it, it is between yourself and your Lord. No one knows. There's no way that you can do riyah with it. There's no way that you can do show off with fasting. It is in the same category with zikr. The remembrance of Allah is in the same category with fasting. The remembrance of Allah, the one you engage in silently within yourself, the one that is within yourself and your Lord, the one you make every time you take a step outside and you comprehend Allah in your surrounding, and you comprehend the remembrance of Allah you engage in, where you comprehend Allah in everything, you glorify Allah's name in everything, and you seek Allah's forgiveness, from mere thoughts about you don't remember exactly something, that you exactly did wrong, but you remember that kullu ibn Adam khata. You remember that all humans, are prone to mistakes, and you seek Allah's forgiveness just for knowing that you are prone to mistakes. You must have made a mistake today. Allah forgive me for the sins of my past. Alhamdulillah, I thank you, Allah. There's really nothing exactly that you're thankful for, but you know within yourself that at least you got life, at least you got a mind with which you're thinking. Even if you don't remember to thank Allah for anything, remember to thank Allah for remembering Allah. You always find a reason to thank Allah, and you always find a reason to glorify Allah. Then you will keep that door open. That door that's a direct connection within yourself and your Lord. And there will be nothing stopping you from entering Allah's Jannah except death. Hassan al-Basri said, تَفَقَّدُوا الْعَلَاوَةَ فِي الثَّلَاثِ. He said, seek for the enjoyment or the sweetness. Seek for sweetness or solace or enjoyment in three things. تَفَقَّدُوا الْحَلَاوَةَ فِي الثَّلَاثِ. Seek for solace in three things, or enjoyment, or sweetness in three things. Fi salat. Seek for sweetness or solace in salat. Wa fi qira'ati al-Quran. Seek for solace or sweetness in the recitation of the Quran. Wa fi dhikr. Seek for solace or sweetness or enjoyment in the remembrance of Allah. فَإِنْ وَجَدْتُمُوهَا. If you find solace in these three things, you have a heavy heart. And before I delve deeper into this, I'm going to say, if you feel depressed or you have suicidal thoughts, please call the hotline. Maybe the executive can share that later. If you're depressed or you have suicidal thoughts, call the hotline and speak to someone. However, coming back to this, what Hassan al-Basri said, that if you find solace in three things, find enjoyment in three things, make yourself happy, find happiness in three things. First, in salat. Second is in the recitation of the Quran. And third is in the remembrance of Allah. He said, if you find solace or enjoyment or happiness in any of these three makes you happy. Anytime you're down and you recite the Quran, it lifts up your spirit. Anytime you're down and you hear the Quran being recited, it lifts up your spirit. Anytime you're feeling down or feeling depressed and you do zikr and you engage in the remembrance of Allah, subhanallah, alhamdulillah, la ilaha illallah, Allahu akbar, it lifts up your spirit. You feel energized. Anytime you're depressed, you go make wudu and you perform salah, it lifts up your spirit, makes you whole. So if you can find solace in that, if you can find happiness, if you can feel all from any of these three, he said, famudu wa abushiru. He said, go and be happy. Just, you're there. If you can find solace in any of these three, you're there. You don't have a problem. Just go and be happy. Okay? But he also said that فَإِن لَمْ تَجِدُوهَا. But if you could not find solace in any of these three, your heart is burdened, and you tried zikr, they recited the Quran to your ears, you still don't feel any happier. You feel sad or you feel depressed, and it doesn't even occur to you to perform salat. You feel sad or you feel depressed, and the dhikr of Allah doesn't even come to you. You couldn't even summon the courage or mutter the simple words to say Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah. It just didn't come to you. It's not working for you. So if you are that person, if any of the three don't work for you, doesn't lift your spirit up, it doesn't make you happy, you don't find solace in it when you need one, he said, فَعْلَمُوا أَنَّ الْبَابَ مُغْلَقٌ. Just know that the door has been shut on you. Subhanallah. If you can't find solace in recitation of the Quran, you cannot find solace or happiness in performing salat, at-tatawwu, aw al-farida, and you could not find solace in making dhikr of Allah. فَعْلَمُوا أَنَّ الْبَابَ مُغْلَقٌ. The door has been shut on you. Just go back and start seeking Allah's forgiveness, because there is no connection between you and your Lord. You have lost that connection. You are back, you are on 1G. Subhanallah. Why everyone else is on 5G and we're talking about 6G now. You are back on 1G, maybe even less than 1G. You have lost the connection with your Lord. You have to go back and seek Allah's forgiveness and seek Allah's mercy to bring you back into the fold. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Ra'd, verse 28, Surah Al-Ra'd, verse 28, he said, الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَتَطْمَئِنُّ قُلُوبُهُم بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبُ. الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, those الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, those who believe in Allah. وَتَطْمَئِنُّ قُلُوبُهُم بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ, and with the remembrance of Allah, they find solace, they find peace for their mind, they find peace of mind from the remembrance of Allah. This is the word of Allah, Surah Al-Ra'd, verse 28. Those who have belief in Allah and they find solace, they find peace, whose hearts are in rest, they find rest for their heart in the remembrance of Allah. أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبُ. That for sure, verily, O Muhammad, verily, in the remembrance of Allah, do hearts find rest. So if your heart is experiencing an unrest, if you're experiencing an unrest in your heart, there's a disturbance in your heart, and you cannot find solace in the recitation of the Quran, which is a form of zikr, you cannot find solace in performing salat, tatawwu, kana, aw al-farida, and you cannot find solace in the remembrance of Allah, the door has been shut on you, and you are not part of al-lazina amanu. Subhanallah. May Allah not make us one of those who will be so unfortunate. قال بعض السلف. Some of the Salaf said, the people before us, one of them said, إذا تمكن الذكر في القلب إذا تمكن الذكر في القلب فإذا دنا منه الشيطان صرعه كما يسرع الإنسان إذا دنا الشيطان فيجتمع عليه الشياطين فيقولون ما لهذا فقال قد مسه الإنسي. Subhanallah. The Salaf said that when the zikr of Allah has become your base, it has become your comfort, it has become it has become your routine, performing the remembrance of Allah, the dhikr, subhanallah, alhamdulillah, al-mutlaq, all this azkar mutlaq, performing this kind of azkar, if it has become your base and something that you are so comfortable with, that you're used to, it has become a part of you to always do it. Even when you're mindless of yourself, you just find yourself muttering it. You wake up, suddenly from sleep, and you hear yourself. That is how you wake up. That's what you found on your own tongue. Even at the point when you had no control, when you're in REM, and maybe you're having a nightmare, you're having a bad dream, and what you could hear yourself muttering by the time you became conscious was the remembrance of Allah, the name of Allah, and nothing else. When you have come to that point where the remembrance of Allah has, gotten a footing in your heart, when the remembrance of Allah has gotten a footing in one's heart. فَإِذَا دَنَا مِنْهُ الشَّيْطَانِ. If the shaitan comes close to that person, the shaitan tries to come close to that person, and we know what is meant by shaitan. It is not just the devil, and it is the devil, but it's not just Iblis. It is Iblis and also his cohorts. And Allah has explained to us that you will find shayateen min al-insi wal jinni. That you will find the cohorts of shaitan from amongst men and also from the jinn. So you're one person, you believe that your nightmare is caused by some farm, some humans, some people are after you, your village people. They didn't leave you at the airport. They came with you, maybe you packed them in your load and came to America with them, and they haven't left you since then. They are troubling you. You feel like that the shayateen min al-insi from your village, the cohorts of shaitan, the people of shaitan, they are troubling you, they are worrying you. The witches, it's okay to think like that. The witches are troubling you, it's fine. The shayateen al-insi, they're bothering you. Or shayateen min al-jinn, even if it's from the jinn, you feel they're worrying you, or they're possessed your family members, or they're troubling you in your house. You're suddenly hearing some sounds in your house, or you're thinking that some things are not normal. Do you want to deal with the shaitan? Do you want to express the full power that Allah has given humans above this shayateen? Do you want to express the full power, the full potential that Allah has given us over them? Because we cannot be afraid of them. We cannot be afraid of them because as shaitan, yukhawwifu awliya'ahu, it is the shaitan that will make his people afraid. It is shaitan's people that are afraid. The people of Allah, the servants of Allah, are not afraid of anything. We're only afraid of Allah. So you'll be surprised when some people will tell you, there's nothing like witches and wizards. And you'll be like, truly, you might have seen what you have seen. You might have experienced what you have experienced. But how do you tell someone who is above all of that? Someone who is above all of that, how can you start to explain to that person? They're above it. What you should do is strive also to be above that level. Be at the level where the shaitan cannot come close to you. Be at the level where the witches and wizards from your village, when they hear your name, they run away. Get to that level. Don't be the one that's trying to confirm that they exist. Be the one that confirms that there's a power that is greater that exists above them. You don't care about their existence. And this reminds me of, some time ago from Sheikh Abdullah Al-Adabi, Sheikh Abdullah Al-Adabi, may the Rahmah of Allah continue to be with him. May Allah forgive him all of his misdoings. He said that I don't have any business with witches. They go their way and I go mine. That is how a Muslim should live. We cannot be afraid that some witches, they have power and they have their meetings overnight and they're talking about you. Why don't you also wake up over the night, which is also the time that Allah has prescribed to us to call upon him. That's the time when you have power. Why don't you go there, grab your own power also? When they're doing this, you're doing yours, and no one is thinking about you at that point. So again, as Muslims, we are not the ones that will confirm that they exist. We are the ones that will confirm that there's a power above theirs that exists in simple ways. See, some of the Salaf have said that if you are a person of zikr, you are one that engages in the remembrance of Allah, right? Such a person, if the shaitan tries to go close to that person, witches and wizards or whatever, try to go too close to that person, that shaitan will be stunned. That shaitan will be stunned. Remember when Allah said in the Quran, الَّذِينَ يَأْكُلُونَ الرِّبَا لَا يَقُومُونَ إِلَّا كَمَا يَقُومُ الَّذِي يَتَكَبَّتُهُ الشَّيْطَانُ مِنَ الْمَسِّ. Because the shaitan, you would have heard that the jinn possessed the person. And when the jinn possesses a person, a few things can happen. A jinn can possess a person and you won't know. And those are the shayateen min al-jinn. that possess human beings. When a jinn possesses a person, the person can go mad. When a jinn possesses a person, the person can just start acting funny. The person can raise one hand and not, and no one can put that hand down, because that's the power of the jinn that has possessed that person's body. So the person starts to behave abnormally. So this is what will start happening to the shaitan that comes close to you. In Yoruba máa sọ pé ní agbélépọ̀ téèyàn bá ń wá agbélépọ̀ tá tó jiná dáadáa nákàlí là ń pín yín nísìnyí o, torí kò sí ohun tó pamọ́ ń bẹ̀ mọ́ nísìnyí ká kúkú dálẹ̀. Nákàlí rèé gbẹ̀ntì máa ń wá nákàlí. Béèyàn bá ń wá agbélépọ̀ tá tó jiná dáadáa kéèyàn ṣáà máa ṣàṣíkiri ní tá à ń sọ náà ni. Ṣé èèyàn fẹ́ alápèta kí nǹkan máa ṣe ẹni tó ń pèèyàn tó ń perí èèyàn níbì kan bó bá ṣe ń perí èèyàn kí nǹkan dẹ̀ máa ṣe níbi tó wà kórí dẹ̀ máa fọ́ kí nǹkan dẹ̀ máa ṣe kéèyàn máa ṣàṣíkiri. Òun ni táwọn àfa sọ yìí. Ọjọ́ òní ọjọ́ táwọn eléyìnbó ni torí n tó last week mo ṣe ń sàn tán lórí ẹ̀ lọ́wọ́, so Ọlọ́run kó má ṣe àkùn wa. Ẹgbẹ́ ni sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn kama yasra al-insan iza dana shaitan. That the shaitan will be stunned. The shaitan will start misbehaving. The shaitan will start become disoriented if he tries to go close to a person who has embodied the spiritual power of remembrance of Allah, the spiritual power that comes from from constant remembrance of Allah. If the shaitan come close to them, the shaitan will get disoriented. The same way a human being will become disoriented when it goes close to the shaitan. When he becomes possessed by the shaitan, the same way he becomes disoriented, it's not himself anymore. The shaitan will take control. It might be a jinn, it might be a human, will take control of the person's body, and he becomes disoriented and start misbehaving, could run mad and things like that. The same way that the shaitan would look like he's possessed and start acting like he's possessed and start, become disoriented, become stunned. And when it happens, فَيَجْتَمِهُ عَلَيْهِ الشَّيَاطِينَ. See, all the other shayateen, all of his other cohorts, his friends, that shaitan, whether it's from the ins or from the jinn or from the ins, from the humans or from the jinn, they will circle him, they'll come around him and look, and they'll be asking themselves, فَيَقُولُونَ مَا لِهَذَا. What has happened to him? What's wrong with him? The same way, if we see a human being that's been possessed, or that's, that run mad, or that's misbehaving, or that's disoriented in an abnormal way, we'll be wondering what's wrong with him. The same way that the shaitan will be inflicted by mere fact that he's trying to come close to you, and you are forbidding upon him because of the power, the spiritual power of the remembrance of Allah that you always engage in, that has found a home in your heart, that has illuminated your heart, makes you forbidding, untouchable for the shayateen. Now he's stunned, and his people are asking themselves, what's wrong with him? And they will be telling themselves, oh, فَيُقَالُ قَدْ مَسَّهُ الْإِنسِيُّ. Oh, he has been inflicted by a human. The same way we tell ourselves that a human has been inflicted by a jinn or by shaitan. This shaitan, they will be saying about this shaitan, that this shaitan, because he tried to go close to, an anointed human, he tried to go close to someone, he got too close to a human that he shouldn't have gotten close to. He has become possessed by that human. He has been قَدْ مَسَّهُ الْإِنسِيُّ. So you can see the power in that. If that is not enough to steer you towards engaging more in the remembrance of Allah, I don't know what will. Ntaso náà ni wípé ní ìmá àṣàrántí Ọlọ́run púpọ̀, ìmá àṣàsíkiri tá a mọ̀ lásìkiri, ìmá àṣàsíkiri púpọ̀, àǹfààní púpọ̀ ń bẹ ńbẹ̀. Ó rọrùn fún wa láti ṣe, àǹfààní dẹ̀ tún pọ̀ ń bẹ fún wa náà tá a bá ń ṣe ní gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìjẹ́yàn wa. Ìmá àṣàsíkiri a máa jẹ́ kójú wa là sí ojú ọ̀nà Ọlọ́run, láti máa rí àwọn àmì Ọlọ́run, láti máa gbé Ọlọ́run tóbi látara àwọn àmì Ọlọ́run tá a bá rí. Ìmá àṣẹrántí Ọlọ́run déédéé yìí, a máa ṣí etí wa sí ọ̀rọ̀ Ọlọ́run, a máa jẹ́ kí ọ̀rọ̀ Ọlọ́run kó wọ̀ wá lára láti ibi etí wa, kí ó wọ̀ wá lọ́kàn, a máa ṣí ọkàn wa náà, a máa jẹ́ kí gbogbo ara wa kó máa ṣèrántí Ọlọ́run ní gbogbo ìgbà, ní gbogbo àsìkò. àwa ṣe ara wa ní ibùgbé láti lè gbà wọlé gbogbo àwọn àǹfààní tí ń bẹ nínú àwọn nǹkan báyìí, yóò máa wá tún wá kà wá kún àwọn tí Ọlọ́run bá ti ròyìn nínú Al-Qur'ani ẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí àwọn tí wọ́n máa ń ṣèrántí òun Ọlọ́run pẹ̀lú gbogbo àwọn àǹfààní tó tẹ̀lé wá. A tún wá ní pé ní òdiwọ̀n ìgbà tí ẹrú Ọlọ́run tó bá ń ṣèrántí Ọlọ́run, lódiwọ̀n ìgbà tó bá ń ṣèrántí Ọlọ́run, inú Ọlọ́run ó máa yọ sí, inú Ọlọ́run ó máa dùn sí, Ọlọ́run ó máa ṣe gbogbo ohun tí bá ń fẹ́, Ọlọ́run máa wá retí àti pàdé wọn. Kò wá ní sínú tí ó kọ́ di irúfẹ́ ẹni bẹ́ẹ̀ láti wọnú àlùjánnà Ọlọ́run àyàfi ikú. Ikú nìkan ni tí ó wà láàrin ẹni yẹn, ikú nìkan ló ń di lọ́wọ́ àti wà àlùjánnà. Kíkú kàn dé ni àlùjánnà ti wà ńlẹ̀ fún tó bá jẹ́ ẹni eré tó dẹ̀ ń ṣèrántí Ọlọ́run ní gbogbo ìgbà. Àwa tí wá sọ pé ní ilẹ̀kùn kan wà sẹ́, ilẹ̀kùn rántí Ọlọ́run yìí láàrin Ọlọ́run àti ẹrú ẹ̀ ló wà. Ilẹ̀kùn yìí gbogbo ìgbà ló wà ń ṣí sílẹ̀, Ọlọ́run pàdé gbogbo ìgbà ló wà ń ṣí sílẹ̀ tó yẹ pé ní èèyàn lè gbàbẹ̀ kéèyàn connect pẹ̀lú Ọlọ́run ní ìgbà tó bá wúyàn. Ilẹ̀kùn yà wà ń ṣíṣí tó diwọ̀n ìgbà téèyàn bá fẹ́ kó wà ń ṣíṣí náà ni. Àfi tí ọmọ èèyàn bá tì fúnra ẹ̀ nìkan ni ilẹ̀kùn yóò tì. Òun náà ni ilẹ̀kùn rántí Ọlọ́run. Bí èèyàn bá ti gbàgbé Ọlọ́run, ilẹ̀kùn yóò tì ni. Ṣùgbọ́n lódiwọ̀n ìgbà téèyàn bá ń ṣèrántí Ọlọ́run, téèyàn bá ń ṣàsíkiri, tí ahọ́n èèyàn ò dá níbi àsíkiri Ọlọ́run, ilẹ̀kùn yóò wà ń ṣíṣí lẹ̀ fún èèyàn náà. Téèyàn lè máa pe Ọlọ́run láti ibẹ̀, tọ́lọ́run sì máa dá èèyàn lóhùn. Tó ò ní nídìí intermediary kankan, èèyàn nídìí àfà, èèyàn nídìí oníjàlábí kan kó ṣe jàlábí fún èèyàn. Tílẹ̀kùn bá wà ń ṣíṣí lẹ̀ fún èèyàn láàárín èèyàn àti Ọlọ́run, bí ìgbà téèyàn bá ń rí Ọlọ́run wájú ẹ̀ báyìí, kéèyàn dẹ̀ lè béèrè téèyàn fẹ́, tọ́lọ́run dẹ̀ ṣe é fún bẹ́ẹ̀, kéèyàn tún wá nídìí ẹlòmíì fún kéèyàn tó béèrè lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run. Ṣùgbọ́n iṣẹ́ téèyàn ń ṣe láti rí i pé ilẹ̀kùn wà ń ṣíṣí lẹ̀, òun náà ni kéèyàn má fi ìṣẹ́jú kan, ìgbà kan láti fi gbàgbé Ọlọ́run, kéèyàn máa rántí ẹ̀ gbogbo ìgbà ni. Àfáà wa sọ wípé ní àfáà wa Hasan al-Basri ó wá sọ wípé ní nǹkan mẹ́ta kan wà, kéèyàn máa wá ìdùnnú látara nǹkan mẹ́ta yìí. Kéèyàn máa wá ìdùnnú èèyàn, kéèyàn máa wá láti ibi nǹkan mẹ́ta yìí. Bí èèyàn bá ti rí dùnnú bí nǹkan mẹ́ta yìí, ẹni yẹn kó lọ fọkàn balẹ̀, ó ti wà nú àwọn ẹni eré, àwọn olùrántí Ọlọ́run. Kí wá ní nǹkan mẹ́ta náà? Ó ní àkọ́kọ́ ń bẹ, òun náà ni ìran. Kéèyàn wá ìfàyàbalẹ̀ látara àrùn. Tí inú èèyàn bá ń bàjẹ́, kéèyàn lọ ṣàlùwàlá kó kírun. Bí èèyàn bá kírun, tí ìbànújẹ́ yẹn bá kúrò lọ́kàn èèyàn, ó lẹ́ni náà ti ṣoríire. Ó lẹ́lẹ́ẹ̀kejì, téèyàn máa wá ìdùnnú látara ẹ̀, òun náà ni ìmáa ka Al-Qur'ani. Bí èèyàn bá ń bàjẹ́, bí èèyàn bá gbá Al-Qur'ani tó kà, tó wáyé pé ìbànújẹ́ yẹn ó kúrò lára ẹ̀, ó ní kẹ́ni náà kó kiri ẹ̀ kó rí rẹ̀ o, ó ti wà nú àwọn olùrántí Ọlọ́run tọ́lọ́run rántí ń dáadáa. Ó lẹ́lẹ́kẹta, òun náà làsíkiri, kéèyàn máa ṣèrántí Ọlọ́run ní gbogbo ìgbà. Nígbà tí inú yẹn bá ń bàjẹ́, kéèyàn wá jókòó kó máa ṣe subhanallah alhamdulillah, subhanallah alhamdulillah, bí gbogbo àsíkiri míì náà téèyàn bá mọ̀, téèyàn fi rántí Ọlọ́run, téèyàn fi ń gbógo fọ́lọ́run, téèyàn fi ń wá foríjì Ọlọ́run, téèyàn fi ń dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run, kéèyàn wá máa wo oríṣiríṣi gbogbo àwọn àmì tọ́lọ́run ṣe fún wa nígbésí ayé wa, bí etí ìgbọ́rọ̀ wa, bí ojú ríran wa, bí imú tá a fi ń gùn, bí ẹnu tá a fi ń sọ̀rọ̀ náà, ibo lọ̀rọ̀ náà ti ń wá, kéèyàn wá ronú síbẹ̀, kéèyàn wá tara abẹ̀ gbọ́lọ́run tóbi, kéèyàn máa dúpẹ́ fọ́lọ́run. Tí ìbànújẹ́ bá tara abẹ̀ kúrò lára èèyàn, ó ní kí ẹni bẹ́ẹ̀ kó máa dunnú ni pé òun náà ti wà nú àwọn, ó wà nú àwọn ẹni rere. Ó lè má ti di wàlí ńgbà náà, ṣùgbọ́n òun náà ó ti ní ìrìn àjò sọ́mọ̀ ni. Bí èèyàn bá bẹ̀rẹ̀ ìrìn àjò lọ sọ́mọ̀, tó bá ti wọ Dunlop slippers, ó ti rìn díẹ̀ ńbẹ̀ torí ó ti gbẹ́sẹ̀ kúrò ńlẹ̀ díẹ̀, so kó máa gbẹ́sẹ̀ yẹn lọ díẹ̀díẹ̀ tó máa fi dé àyè ibi tó ń lọ sọ́mọ̀ ni. Nígbà tó wá rí bẹ́ẹ̀, bí èèyàn bá wá ṣe nǹkan mẹ́ta yìí, tí ò rí dùnnú ńbẹ̀, tí ò pa gbogbo ìbànújẹ́ ọkàn ẹ̀ rẹ́, ó ní irú ẹni bẹ́ẹ̀ kó yá lọ mọ̀ ní pé ilẹ̀kùn ti tì o, ilẹ̀kùn ti tì mẹ́ni náà, kẹ́niyàn yá lọ máa túbá kó máa wá foríjì Ọlọ́run. Ilẹ̀kùn ti tì pa, kó yá lọ wá foríjì Ọlọ́run, kọ́lọ́run lè mú un padà ojú ọ̀nà tílẹ̀kùn ó fi ṣí padà. Béèyàn ò bá rí dùnnú láti ibi kó kírun, àbí láti ibi pé aka Al-Qur'ani, wọ́n ka Al-Qur'ani létí ẹ̀, inú ẹ̀ sì ń bàjẹ́ náà ni, àbí pé wọ́n wá ṣàzìkárò, àbọ̀ ṣàzìkárò létí ẹ̀, inú ẹ̀ sì ń bàjẹ́ náà ni ilẹ̀kùn ti tì mẹ́rin náà. Khatamallahu ala qalbi, àti dí gàgá mọ́ ọkàn ẹ̀, kò lè, ó kàn lajúlẹ̀ ni, kò lè rí nǹkan kan, ó kàn létí ìgbọ́ ni, kò lè understand nǹkan kan tí máa ń gbọ́, yóò kàn lẹ́nu ni, kò ní lè, kò súnmọ́ bókùnmọ́ ọ̀hún. فَهُمْ لَا يَفْقَهُونَ kò lè understanding kankan nínú gbogbo àmì Ọlọ́run máa káwà kún èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀. Ọlọ́run wá sọ fún wa náà Kùránì ni pé ó wá ń júwe àwọn onígbàgbọ́ òdodo pé ní allazina amanu wa yatma'unna qulubuhum ala bi zikrillahi tatma'innul qulub. Ìpè ní àwọn tí wọ́n nígbàgbọ́ sóhun Ọlọ́run Ọba tí wọ́n sì ní ìfàyàbalẹ̀ ọkàn. Wọ́n ní ala bi zikrillahi tatma'innul qulub. Ìpè dájúdájú pẹ̀lú ìmáa ṣèrántí Ọlọ́run, òun náà ni ọkàn fi máa balẹ̀. Òun náà ni ọkàn fi máa balẹ̀ láti ibi ìrántí Ọlọ́run ni. Ṣùgbọ́n ẹni tí ọkàn ẹ̀ ò bá máa balẹ̀ láti ibi kó máa ṣèrántí Ọlọ́run, ó yá fura sí ààrẹ. Ọlọ́run máa ṣe ṣọ́ wa ńbẹ̀. Now, we don't have much time, and we still have a lot to talk about in terms of the remembrance of Allah. So I'm going to try to rush everything. The remembrance of Allah is mentioned in 10 different forms in the Quran. I don't know that we can complete all of that. So the first form that the remembrance of Allah is mentioned, zikr, is mentioned in the Quran, is in Surah Al-Ahzab, verse 44 to 45. It is in the form of a command to us to always engage in the remembrance of Allah. Allah has commanded us to engage in the remembrance, in His remembrance, where He has said, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu udhkurullaha zikran kathira wasabbihuhu bukratan wa asila wallazi yusalli alaykum wa malaikatuhu liyukhrijakum min az-zulumati ila an-nur wa kana bil mu'minina rahima. Ya ayyuhallazina amanu. He said, oh, you will believe. Uzkurullaha zikran kathira, as a form of command. Allah said, He is commanding you, Uzkurullaha, remember Allah. Make remembrance of Allah. Dhikran kathira, a lot. Remember Allah a lot, with much remembrance. That's a command. Remember Allah a lot with much remembrance. Wasabbihuhu bukratan wa asila, and glorify His praises morning and night. Glorify His praises morning and night. Another command. So remember Allah and glorify His praises morning and night. وَالَّذِي يُصَلِّي عَلَيْكُمْ وَمَلَائِكَتُهُ. We'll stop here. Say, remember Allah a lot, morning, and glorify His name morning and night. And Allah also said in Surah Al-A'raf, verse 205, where He said, وَاذْكُرُوا رَبَّكَ فِي نَفْسِكَ تَضَرُّعًا وَخِيفَةً. He said, and remember your Lord within yourself. Remember your Lord within yourself, humbly and with fear. Remember your Lord within yourself. That's what we said when we said that in the form, it comes in with the same form as fasting, where Allah said that the reward for fasting is only from Allah, and no one else can reward you for fasting. And the reason why Allah said that is because fasting is between the person who is fasting and Allah, no one else. Fasting is something that you cannot make riyah with. You cannot make, a show off with it. The same way for the remembrance of Allah that Allah mentioned in Surah Al-A'raf, that remember Allah within yourself, in your own mind, in your heart. Say your Subhanallah silently in your heart, humbly and with fear of Allah. In the above context, within yourself, some of the scholars have explained what it means to say within yourself. What does Allah mean when He said remember Allah within yourself? He said it's taken to mean either silently within yourself or quietly with your tongue, where only you can hear it. So not too loud, but not exactly totally silent. For the fuqaha, they would say when in fiqh, if they say silently, you're still required to tariqul shafatain, for your lips to be moving, even when they say silently. For example, when we pray Salatul Zuhr, and you're supposed to recite, all of the Fatiha and the Surah silently, your lips are required to be moving even while you're reciting silently. So the scholars have said you can either close your mouth completely and say it in your mind, that's zikr, or you should say it, make a little sound, not too loud, but not exactly totally silent, that it can come both ways. the Prophet was asked, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, أَقَرِيبٌ رَبُّنَا فَنُنَاجِيهِ أَمْ بَعِيدٌ فَنُنَادِيهِ. That is our Lord close to us? Is he close enough to us that we converse with him silently? Or is he far away from us that we have to call upon him? And the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then when he was asked this question, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed a verse of the Quran to him, where he said, وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ إِبَادِ أَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ. That is the sabab al-nuzul for that verse, because the people asked the Prophet Muhammad, how is Allah close to us? Is he by our side? Is it within us? Is he close enough that we can converse with him silently? Or is he far away that we have to call upon him? And Allah said, إِذَا سَأَلَكَ إِبَادِ أَنِّي, if my servants ask you about me, فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ, tell them that I am close to them. أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ, and I hear the call of the caller, إِذَا دَعَانِ, whenever he calls me. So Allah is close to you. It's close enough that you can converse with him silently, and you can also call upon him, but you don't have to shout. You don't have to shout to call Allah. It is narrated from Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, where he said that رَفَعَ النَّاسُ أَصْوَاتَهُمْ بِالدُّعَاءِ فِي بَعْدِ الْأَسْفَارِ فَقَالَ لَهُمْ النَّبِيُّ صلى الله عليه وسلم يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسُ اربعوا على أنفسكم فإنكم لا تدعون الأصم ولا غائبا ولا تدعون الأصم ولا غائبا إن الذي تدعونه سميع قريب أقرب إلى أحدكم من عنق راحلته. So one day, the people were traveling with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they were riding on their animals, and they were traveling, and they were making zikr, they were glorifying Allah, they were, at the top of their voice, they were calling on Allah, they were making dua, and the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to them, Ya ayyuhan nas, O you people, irba'u ala anfusikum, relax yourselves, calm yourselves, فَإِنَّكُمْ لَا تَدْعُونَ أَصَمَّ وَلَا غَائِبًا, because you are not calling on a deaf one, and you're not calling on one who is absent. You're calling on Allah. إِنَّ الَّذِي تَدْعُونَهُ سَمِيعٌ, the one that you're calling upon, he hears. قَرِيبٌ is close to you. أَقْرَبُ إِلَى أَحْدِكُمْ, in fact, is closer to you than the neck of the animal you're riding right now. Allahu Akbar. Ní ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, a máa sọ pé ní ojú ló ń kálá àdúrà tó ń jágbe mọ́ Ọlọ́run. Aládùúà ní máa jágbe mọ́ Ọlọ́run. Mùsùlùmí è jágbe pé Ọlọ́run. Pẹ̀lẹ́pẹ̀lẹ́, pẹ̀lú ìrẹ̀lẹ̀, ohun ìrẹ̀lẹ̀. Torí pé ní tí Mùsùlùmí bá máa pe Ọlọ́run, ọ̀nà méjì, àárín ipò méjì ni Mùsùlùmí máa ń wà gbogbo ìgbà tí ìbá pe Ọlọ́run. Yóò máa wà bayna al-khawfi war-raja, yóò máa wà láàárín ìbẹ̀rù àti ìrètí ni. So Mùsùlùmí a máa pẹ̀lẹ́pẹ̀lẹ́ pé Ọlọ́run ni, torí pé ní yóò máa bẹ̀rù pé ní ṣọ́lọ́run ó gbà báyìí, yóò sì máa nírètí sọ́lọ́run pé Ọlọ́run ní kí n pè wọn, ó dá mi lóhùn, yóò dá mi lóhùn, dájúdájú ó ti gbọ́n tí mò ń béèrè, yóò sì dá mi lóhùn náà ni. Láàárín méjèèjì ni Mùsùlùmí wà. Kò kí ń ṣe èèyàn kí ń jágbe Ọlọ́run pé yóò ṣe dandan ni ó ti ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀, ó ti rí bẹ́ẹ̀, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni yóò jẹ́ ní orúkọ kinní kan àti kinní kan. Mùsùlùmí è ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀. Mùsùlùmí è sì jágbe pé Ọlọ́run. Òun ni ẹ̀kọ́ tí Ànábì fẹ́ kọ́ wa níbi yìí báyìí. Azikar, the remembrance of Allah, in another, the second way that it came in the Quran is as a form of prohibition against doing the opposite. That it is prohibiting us from forgetting Allah. Specifically, it prohibited us from any moment forgetting Allah. Remember, we have to make remembrance of Allah in everything that surrounds us. Listen, if you walk in front of a computer all day, remember Allah via the computer. Look at the computer and find a way to glorify Allah's name from it. Find a way to thank Allah for it. If you don't have anything to thank Allah for giving you fingers to type on the computer you're working on. That's an opportunity for you to remember Allah. You have no excuse. You will find a way to glorify Allah. Glorify Allah for the knowledge that He bestowed upon man to create something as magnificent as a computer. That's a way to glorify Allah. then thank him for giving you eyes to see the computer and be able to work on it. If nothing else, thank Allah for giving you the job that has put you in front of the computer. Find a way to do zikr, even while you're in anything or any situation you find yourself. In Surah Al-A'raf, verse 205, Allah said, وَلَا تَكُنْ مِنَ الْغَافِلِينَ, and do not be one of the forgetful ones. Don't forget Allah one moment. He also said in Surah Al-Ashr, verse 19, وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ نَسُوا اللَّهَ فَأَنْسَاهُمْ أَنفُسَهُم, and do not be one of those who forgot Allah, and Allah made them forget themselves. That's the punishment for forgetting Allah. Allah said, do not be of those who forgot Allah. They became disobedient to Allah. They became kuffar. They started disobeying Allah. They forgot the last day. They forgot the majesty of Allah. They forgot the power of Allah to raise them up after they die. They forgot that Allah is going to make judgment of everyone. They forgot that Allah will ask questions about everything that they did in life. They forgot. And Allah said, we caused them to forget themselves. We caused them to forget to seek forgiveness. We caused them to forget to do righteous deeds while they were alive. The third form that zikr was mentioned in the Quran, in the form of a salvation, a form of deliverance for those who engage in it always. When in Surah Al-Anfal, verse 45, Allah said, وَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ كَثِيرًا لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ, and remember the name of Allah much. Remember the name of Allah a lot. You know, most of everything that I've said, different verses, Allah has said, remember Allah a lot. Remember Allah much. That's why you find some of the scholars with Musabba, which Yoruba call Tesubah. Torí pé ní bí yẹn ó bá rántí Ọlọ́run lọ́nà tó pọ̀, èèyàn láti fà á dáadáa, tí ó pọ̀ dáadáa. Téèyàn bá dẹ̀ máa ka òǹkà, ìka lè má tó láti kà, tó rọ̀ ní ká rántí òun ní púpọ̀ púpọ̀. And remember the name of Allah much with your tongue and your mind, so that you may be successful. So Allah is telling us in this verse that if you engage in the remembrance of Allah a lot, you will be one of the successful ones. And success in the sight of Allah is entering His Jannah. Do not miss it. The fourth form that the zikr of Allah is mentioned in the Quran is as a form of praise upon those who engage in it, and an information to them about the reward that Allah has prepared for them, which is forgiveness. Allah has also prepared paradise for them. So Allah is informing them about this, what He has prepared for them, this category of people who engage in the remembrance of Allah, amongst other categories of people that Allah mentioned in Surah Al-Ahzab, verse 35. Surah Al-Ahzab, verse 35, where Allah mentioned all these categories of people, where He said, Inna al-Muslimina wal-Muslimat wal-Muslimin wal-Mu'minina wal-Mu'minat wal-Qanitina wal-Qanitat wal-Sadiqina wal-Sadiqat wal-Sabirina wal-Sabirat wal-Khashi'ina wal-Khashi'at wal-Mutasaddiqina wal-Mutasaddiqat wal-Sa'imina wal-Sa'imat wal-Hafizina furujahum wal-Hafizat wal-Zakirina Allah kathiran. Allah mentioned the people who engage in the remembrance of Allah a lot. Zakirina Allah kathiran wal-Zakirat. Male and female alike, who engage in the remembrance of Allah a lot. Amongst those other category of believers, male and female, servants of Allah, male and female, the people who engage in monotheism, male and female, the people who fast, male and female. Allah mentioned as a special category for people who engage in the remembrance of Allah, male and female, a lot. He said, A'adallahu lahum, that Allah has prepared for them magfiratan, forgiveness, wa ajran azima, and a great deal of reward, which is the greatest deal of reward with Allah is paradise. That Allah has prepared paradise for them. And to round it up, which is not the last, and this is just the fourth form, and inshallah, if anyone wants to have a copy of this this lecture, I have taken time to prepare it, and if we get requests, we can send it to people's email, inshallah, after today. And Allah also, there's an hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that I would like to close with, that shows us that by mere association with the people who are engaging in the remembrance of Allah, by mere association, some people will become successful in the sight of Allah, just for seeing, just for being, close to them. The Prophet Muhammad and Abi Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, Abi Hurairah said, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن لله ملائكة يطوفون في الطرق يلتمسون أهل الذكر فإذا وجدوا قوما يذكرون الله ينادوا ألموا إلى حاجاتكم. He said that Allah has some angels, special duties angels. Their job is to go around the earth, right? They go around the earth seeking for groups of people making remembrance of Allah. They go around the earth seeking for where groups of people are gathered, remembering Allah, making remembrance of Allah in a group. And when they find a group of people engaged in the remembrance of Allah, they call themselves. They say to themselves, come and see what you're looking for. Come and see what you're looking for, because it's their special duty. That's all they do. They come on earth, they start looking for where group of people are performing the remembrance of Allah. Then they call upon themselves and say, come and see what you're looking for. And then they surround this group of people with the wings. They surround them, because they also engage in the remembrance of Allah. They engage in the glorification of Allah always. So they stay with them, they surround them with their wings, and they protect them while they engage in the remembrance of Allah. And after they finish and they all leave that place and they complete their hajjah, they complete the remembrance of Allah, and they all leave, the angels will go back to their abode, to go to Allah to give a report about what they saw. And when they get to Allah, Allah will ask them, even though He knows everything, Allah will say, Ma yakulu ibadi, what did my servants, what did they say? What did you find them doing? What did you find them saying? Qalu, the angels will say to him, Yusabbihunaka wa yukabbirunaka wa yahmuduna wa yumajidunaka. They were praising your name. They were glorifying your name. They were saying Allah is the greatest. They were saying Alhamdulillah. Qala, and Allah will say to them, Al-Ra'awni, did they see me? For them to be doing all of this, did they see me to be doing it? And the angels will reply him, La wallahi ma ra'awka. They did not see you, wallahi. We swear by Allah, they could not see you, yet they were engaging in your remembrance in this way. Waqala, Allah will now say to them, Wa kayfa la ra'awni. How would it have been if they could see me? Kayfa la ra'awni. How would it have been if they could see me? And the angels will say to Allah, La ra'awka kanu ashad. كانوا أشد لك عبادة وأشد لك تمجيدا. If they could have seen you, they were doing all of that even while they could not see you. But if they could have seen you, they would have done even more. They would have done it even better than they did while they did not see you. And Allah will say to them, and Allah will ask them, أشد لك تمجيدا وأكثر لك تسبيحا. قال, and Allah will say, ماذا يسألوني? What are they asking for? What are they seeking from me that they're making all this glorification and they're making all this dhikr? And the angels will reply Allah and they say, Yes, alunaka al-jannah. They are seeking for your Jannah. They are seeking paradise. And Allah will say to them, Arawha, can they see the Jannah? Have they seen the Jannah? Do they have a feel of what the Jannah looks like that they're seeking it? Why are they seeking it? Have they seen it? Do they have a feel of it? And the angels will reply Allah and they'll say, no, they have not seen it. They don't even have a feel of it. They have an idea, but they haven't seen it before. And Allah will say, how did it have been if they had seen the Jannah? How did it have been if they had seen what they're asking me for? And the angels will reply that they would have even done better. They would have done more than they are doing right now. And Allah will say, okay, so what are they seeking my protection from? What are they running away from? What are they seeking my protection from? And the angels will reply Allah, and they'll say, they're seeking your protection from the hellfire. And Allah will ask them, do they see the hellfire? Have they felt the fire that they're seeking my protection from it? And the angels will say to Allah that indeed, no, wallahi, we swear by Allah, they have not seen the hellfire. They have heard news about it, but they haven't seen it before. And Allah will say to them, وَكَيْفَ لَوْ رَأَوْهَا. How would it have been if they could see the hellfire? If they could actually feel the heat from the hellfire, how much more would they have done? And the angels will reply Allah and they'll say that they would have done more. They would have sought your forgiveness, and they would have repented even more than they are repenting right now. They would have asked for your for your protection, even more than they're asking right now. And Allah will say that Ashi'idu, be witnesses today. He will say to the angels, be witnesses today. Ushi'idukum anni qad ghafartu lahum. I make you witnesses today that I have forgiven them all of their sins. Fayaqulu malakum min al-malaika. And one of the angels, one of them will say to Allah, okay, so you are forgiving them, and Allah has, put down the gavel like the judge would do in the courtroom. And Allah say, I make you witnesses today that I have forgiven them. And he will bang the gavel. And one of the angels will raise his hand and say, oh Lord, fihim fulanun. Amongst them is one man. He is not a part of them, but he happens to be walking by while they were making your dhikr. He was walking by and he stopped by and stayed there. He doesn't have the same mindset as they do. Remember, the ones that were doing zikr, they were seeking Jannah and they were seeking Allah's protection from the hellfire. This one wasn't seeking Jannah or seeking protection from hellfire. He had, he has something else in his mind, something else that was bothering him that he needed. Maybe he needed money or he needed something else. And they'll say, Laysa minhum. It wasn't one of them. It just happened upon them. He just happened to associate himself with them while we were with them. Innama jahali ajatin. He has come for something else. He came to ask maybe for long life. Something else. Is not asking for, not necessarily asking for Jannah or protection from hellfire. Qala umu julasa ula yashqa bihim jalisuhum. And Allah will say that these are my people. And anyone that associates himself with them will not be reduced to misery. So even if it doesn't have the same mindset as them, even if it's not as clean as them, as far as he is associated to them, he associated himself to them. Èèyàn kan ní òṣòrí rẹ̀ látara pé ó fara kí àwọn tí wọ́n máa ń ṣèrántí Ọlọ́run gbogbo ìgbà bí àwọn àfáà. Subhanallah, Ọlọ́run máa ṣe gba àdúrà gbogbo wa èyí tá a ṣe yìí. And this is just the fourth form of where the remembrance of Allah has been mentioned in the Quran, and we said that at 10, so we still have a long way to go. If anyone wants a copy of this, inshallah, we can make it available. May Allah accept it from each and every one of us. فسبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم.